Alright, today we are hiking Mount Madison in the Presidential Range of New Hampshire, and we begin by being greeted by this sign. Pretty sure I know how to read, so I won't waste time reading it to you. So, this hike is 8.3 miles round trip. We will be taking the airline trail to the airline cutoff, to the Madison hut. Then we will take the Osgood Trail to the top. This is our route right here. And today we are joined by Mr. Josh.
What's up?
What's up? Between the Valleyway and the airline, those are the two main routes to Madison. So I have to say airline's more challenging, but it's also more scenic. Let's see if it is. Alright, we've reached the next trail junction. Sylvan Way, Cold Brook Falls that way, and Snyder Brook is that way. But we are going straight. Got a neat little brook crossing here. No problem, easily rock hoppable. And onward we go. Looks like it's actually starting to clear up. I can see blue sky poking its way through in the sun. So hopefully we'll be in for a good views day. And that is the Beechwood Way. Goes to the Valleyway Trail. Ampy Branch goes that way. But we will be going straight. Well, we've reached the junction with the short line. That's the main access to the King Ravine Trail. The actual trailhead off Will's Path is somewhat less used. Then next up is the Randolph Path. What do you think so far?
Not bad. A little sweaty.
That can't be helped. But the summit result and the hike will be so worth it. Alright, got a notoriously steep section right up here. But I think the junction with the Randolph Path is right up there. Yep, this is the junction of the Randolph Path. And the airline goes that way. So let's go. We're continuing up airline, and the grade is starting to pick up. Should be getting somewhat near that steep section. Holding out all right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
My thighs hurt.
Yeah. Just part of the experience. On we go. Come to a portion of the trail with insane amounts of standing water. Although up there it looks like less so, although it seems to be more running. Oh well, can't escape it all. Alright, the woods have changed, and more attractive woods here actually. Yeah. So far, I'm loving it. Hopefully I'll love it even more when you get the sections that actually have views. Alright, this may be the steepest section on the entire trail. Unless there's another one farther up they don't know about. But this is really freaking steep. But slow and steady wins the race, and thus we can make it up here no problem. Slowly inching our way up this thing. There's Josh.
Sup?
Sup?
I'm dead.
Yeah, totally.
The size. It's like straight up.
And on we go. We've reached the next trail junction in the route. Scar Trail to Valleyway. We'll be taking the Valleyway Trail down this thing. And airline continues this way to the airline cutoff, which goes to Mount Madison and to Mount Adams. Well, the airline cutoff doesn't go to Adams, the main trail does. Alright, we are starting to, I think, approach the knife edge. Durand Ridge to be exact. So we should be breaking out the trees relatively soon. So I'll meet you farther down the trail, hopefully when you do break out of the trees. Alright, we have made it to the Alpine Zone. Enjoy the fragile beauty, be a caring steward. Normal stuff. You glad we got here?
Almost there.
Yep.
It's opening up.
Oh, totally. And we should be on our way. We've made it to the treeless Alpine Zone. Sought in up there, unfortunately, but I don't know, you take what you get. Out there is King Ravine. Some pretty steep trails in there. And out there is a view over Route 2 into the Crescent Range. So far, really good. I am going to tackle this thing with my friend Josh.
Yeah, it's freezing cold out here. My hands are numb. But this is life right here.
Oh yeah. Doesn't get much better than this, and that is unless the clouds clear. And I'll meet you farther up the trail. Alright, we are staring down a gully into King Ravine, and the summits are actually, that's Treeline Dumb. Yep, and the summits are actually starting to clear, although more clouds are coming in, so I don't know what it will be after that, but we are on our way. Would you say that haul up that the previous section of trail is worth this?
Yeah, the views are amazing. That's freezing nuts up here, but
That they are.
that's because it was sweaty.
Yep. Chemin des Dames. Don't want to go down that trail. It's extremely steep and rough, plus it leads into complete. Well, we are currently ascending the Durand Ridge knife edge. And it is quite steep. And the clouds are rolling in. It looks like we're about to be hit in the face by one of them. Madison Hut should be just up there, which means the airline cutoff should be coming up pretty soon. Oh, we reached the junction with the airline cutoff. Madison Hut, 0.2 miles that way. And Mount Adams is 0.8 of a mile that way, but we're not going that way. We're going to Madison. And there's 3.5 miles to Appalachia from this point. So these heights, fair distance. I'll meet you once you get to the hut. Sweet. We've arrived at the Madison Spring Hut. Elevation approximately 4,800 feet, right between Mount Madison and Mount Adams.
Oh, you're right. That looks like it's backwards. Right there, it's backwards. Flip it.
Yeah. So, well, it's kind of bustling in the hut, so I'm just going to film the exterior of it. Alright, you're going to have a breather in the hut, and then we'll meet you farther up the Osgood Trail to the summit of Mount Madison. Alright, we are beginning the final push to the summit of Mount Madison. Half a mile to the top. Let's roll. Alright, we are on our way to the top of Mount Madison. As you can see, it's pretty much straight up. And I'll meet you farther up the trail. Should be near the top. I'll meet you at the end. Alright, we did it. We arrived at the summit of Mount Madison, elevation 5,367 feet in New Hampshire's presidential range. Bit of a haul to get up here. Airline was pretty steep in spots, especially going up the knife edge during the bridge, but I guess there's some sort of a view. The clouds are clearing a little bit, but not that much. And out there would be the Great Gulf, that's engulfed in clouds. Still, good trek nonetheless. Glad we made it. 43 for me is in the bag, and number 1 for you is in the bag. Yeah, just a bit. Alright, so far so good. I'm going to take a breather, and then I will meet you back at the Madison Hatfield descent down Valleyway. Alright, we are now back on the Valleyway Trail, heading toward Appalachia. This will be an easy 3.8 miles back. But the footing is a lot better here than on either the airline cutoff, or the Osgood Trail. That's just good. It'll be easier on our feet and knees. I'll meet you farther down the trail. We're at the junction with the Upper Bruin, and that leads to the airline, but we're not going that way considering we went up that way to get here. Nope, we are continuing down Valleyway. Valleyway tent site's right there, and our descent continues that way. I'd like to check out the Valleyway tent site sometime. Seems like it'd be a decent place to stay. Got a neat little cascade here. Just goes down the ravine, and onward we go. We're continuing down Valleyway, and we have about 2 miles to go. So, should be a relatively moderate to easy 2 miles from here on out. I mean, the worst of it in terms of steepness and roughness is done. we'll just have to see, because only time I ever hiked this trail was in winter with 3 feet of snow on it, so I'm not sure what the footing of the entire trail is like. Alright, we reached the junction with the Brookside, and from this junction it is 0.8 miles to Appalachia that way. Oh wow, that is a nice one. Onward we go. Well, we've made it back to the trailhead. Overall, I'd say this is a fairly rough one. Some spots were quite steep and rough, others were more easy but had pretty wet footing. So, number 43 for me and number 1 for my friend Josh. And this hike was 8.3 miles round trip at 4,100 feet of elevation gain. So, on the Appalachia Trailhead and the summit of Mount Madison, see you on my next adventure.